What's up, everybody? Welcome to our weekly Lead Champ Pro call. I'm super excited to be able to host this with myself and Mr. Josh Lockhart. We've got an incredible special guest today. It's crazy to say, probably my oldest friend, one of my oldest friends to this point. I've known Grady since I was an 18-year-old kid and got started in my first entrepreneurial activities. And Grady was there, and he was a great mentor, his parents as well. And I watched Grady go from doing network marketing to getting into technology and software to building an absolutely amazing insurance empire that does well over 100 million a year. I think 100 million is conservative in comparison to where they're going. So it's exciting to have Grady on. Grady, I'd love if you could share just a little bit of, how long you've been in the insurance industry. I think a lot of people do know you, but this is going on YouTube, so I want people to kind of hear a little bit of the backstory.
Awesome. Well, first, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Josh. Nice to see you both. Great business partners for many years, but also great friends. And, it's fun to see you guys continue to evolve in your own business, start new businesses, raise families, make your wives proud, all the things that we're trying to do each and every day. So it's an honor to be on and thank you everybody for joining us to learn a little bit about the insurance world at large. But my background, I got introduced to insurance early in 2015. I wasn't mature enough or ready to put in the effort and discipline in order to make it turn my ambition into success. So I sat on the sidelines for a few years. Life progressed, had a couple more kids, and all of a sudden the pressure got real, and I got to the point where revisited insurance. And in 2018, which is crazy to say now, 7 years ago, I got started with Andrew Taylor, and I was running appointments in person and running all over my great state of Arizona from hours away in both directions, running in-person appointments at paper apps, uh, and making it happen, right? Some people make excuses, some people make it happen, and they're not the same people. And I was blessed with having blessed to find our parent company, Family First Life, early in my career, and made a go at it and started selling at a high level. Built an agency in my first year to 150,000 a month. Fast forward to my second year, we built an agency to about 2.2 million a month, which is, no, I apologize. That would have been crazy. My second year was 450 a month, but by the third year it was 2.2 a month. And so in 3 years, we went from basically zero to 2.2 million a month in issue paid volume being paid to the agents that we spent time with coaching. Jamie, I was fortunate and blessed to recruit you away from different opportunities and come work with me. And it's been such a great partnership. And fast forward now, the agency is doing just this past month, Jamie, we did $17.5 million issue paid, which is absolutely preposterous with thousands of great agents, hundreds of great producers, and a huge slew of great, incredible agency managers. And so I love the insurance industry. I love the model at which we focus on, which is serving the masses, and a lead-based model, which we procure. Jamie and I cut our teeth in business early on with network marketing, recruiting, and prospecting strangers, and trying to turn the average into ambitious. And that's a great way to live life, but it's a heck of a lot easier to sell people that are already looking for life insurance and trying to make them care about their family. Now, how much do you love your family, Bob? Not that much. That's why I didn't fill out the form. Okay. Jim, how much do you love your family? Well, I'm trying to learn about the products. All right, perfect. Let's have a conversation. You filled out the form. And that's just a different way to prospect in business is the way in which we all succeed at. So fortunate and blessed to found insurance, and anyone that's getting started with it, that's getting going with it, have big faith and belief, because in the entrepreneurial landscape out there, there isn't much. You can start with a couple $100 to get your license, get a stack of interested people, and then it's your job to go have some conversations and convert them into clients. So,
Best business ever. And it's
amen.
cool. I mean, I was conservative with 100 million, guys. It's closer to 200 million if we keep tracking the way that we're tracking, which is just obnoxious to even say out loud.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I remember when you slept on my ottoman in my college apartment one time, and
Yeah.
just to see how far this has come. But I'd love to have Josh come back on the screen here for a second, and I'd love, both of you guys have been in the industry for a little bit. Obviously, technology, that's what we're here to talk about today, AI, automation. Um, I'd love if you guys could give me a little bit of the back in my day. What was it like when you first got started in this industry, and how have you seen it evolve? And I'll start with Josh here for a second.
Well, thanks, Jamie. And I'd like to point out that Jamie called Grady his oldest friend. He didn't specify whether he meant length of time they've been friends or just age-wise. So I'll let him, clear that up later on.
Josh
So
might be my oldest friend age-wise. Grady,
no, Grady's got me by a few months, and
I'll
he's in
take it.
his yeah, and he looks better on camera. So yeah, I mean, so Jamie loves to point out I sold my first policy in 2007, Grady. We had a debit route where I had to go pick up, Aunt Nancy's premium for $23.71 every month. And which is wild, right? When we sold a policy, it was on a paper application and we had to do a mouth swab right in the house. So they'd say, yeah, I want the 20,000. And then you open this packet and all right, open up. And it's, that was then and this is now. And I was telling somebody yesterday the fact that, you're in Arizona, Jamie's in South Carolina, and I'm here. It just never ceases to amaze that we can sit here and do what we do, and not have to sit on couches and do all the things that we used to have to do. So yeah, it's been crazy. And then I was talking to Mr. Polcyn Sr. the other day and talking about what he had done. So it's a great industry. Like you said, you can make money kind of different ways. You could sell different types of products, and we have those here. But like you said, at the end of the day, you have to get on the phone, you have to make it happen. I think the principles still apply in 2007 as they did today. But yeah, it is pretty wild. And yeah, I'll turn it over to you because I've only been with here in this space with FFL for a few years. And so yeah, I kind of took a little space out, and it was a big shift for me.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, as we're on the lead champ call talking about tech and stuff, I think it's fascinating to reflect back and you can't appreciate the present without looking at the past, right? We don't have to make our own butter. I don't go to a shoe cobbler to get my shoes, to get my shoes made. I'm not out there, milking the cows to be able to make cereal for my kids. Like they're always all progression, right? And you can argue this way or that, but I don't think there's many of us that want to go back to paper apps. We'll start there. Some may want to go in person, et cetera. But like, when I reflect on on this industry and see the progression of it, to see the ease at which we can procure clients and the ease at which we can then make sales through technology and then follow up with technology, we're in like a business, like I don't want to say eye of the hurricane because that's where it's peace and calm, and outside the hurricane, it's chaotic. But it's almost like we're in like I don't know, a magical bus that's just taking us through all this crazy stuff that people have to deal with in business and sales. And we've got I don't want to say a smooth run, but a straight path that can make consistent success. And for people to be here and now, we will look back in 3, 5, 7, 10, 12 years and go, that was the gold rush of virtual sales, be able to acquire leads, the early onset of AI, which we'll talk about more today, plug and get your right CRM, technology, all these things. And so, when I used to have to dial paper leads and book in-person appointments and drive all over, Arizona, thousands of in-person appointments, I love it. I loved it all, but it did make me tougher. And I do fear the ease at which this business is now. Like, I see Arthur, and I don't know Arthur, but he's got a cool hat on, he's got a comfy hoodie, he's chilling at his house, and that dude is right now more comfortable than I was for 2 years. I was physically uncomfortable for 2.5, 3 years, waking up at 6, making sure no clients canceled or text me back, driving my ass in the cold across the city, showing up at their door, knocking with my shaving a haircut knock, making sure my shirt's tucked in. I got my bag. Do I have all the brochures? Getting in the house. Do they have Wi-Fi? Do I have to connect to my hotspot? And then trying to make us in-person sale. There's 3 hours of work before I get to present, right? From the dialing, the preparation, then the driving, the in-home, finally get in the house. And now we live in a world where I can click a button, leads are going to come to me in real time, and I can choose to call them or not if I feel like it, right? That's the problem with all entrepreneurs, being honest. And if you disagree, then you're just not being honest with yourself. We have the ability to say, I just don't feel like it right now. I don't feel like it today. And that's the difference between winners and everybody else is winners just do it anyway, right? We've seen the memes or the quotes and all the things. And so I reflect back and no dig on Arthur. I hope he comes in, he sells a ton and he runs up the leaderboard and he says, and he goes, I don't care how comfortable. I bet he's got some like really comfortable slippers on right now because he doesn't need to have Nunn Bush, shoes from Ross and Dockers on and drive his butt to Buckeye, an hour and 15 minutes away in traffic with everybody else to go make a sale to Dolores, who may or may not be there because I quick set it because I just need another appointment on the books, right? That's the world that we came from. And now we can buy leads at will that come off the internet of people that see an ad that triggers them. And then they just answer the phone 15 minutes later. Guys, like this,
the
what are we talking?
the Nunn Bush reference gets me every time. So two things. Because yeah, I was in the home, Jamie was in the home, we were all in the home, and yeah, I mean, if I had to drive an hour and a half, and fight Atlanta traffic and dodge, several car accidents just to get there, right? Like there was a certain pressure that, I'm not going to come home to my family without a sale because it was just too hard. I'm already here. I have to make it work where, now I can walk downstairs and I got my little heater and my coffee and I can just go get a refill. And, if I,
Yeah.
it's just what's easy to do is easy not to do. And I think that's part of the issue. And maybe we'll touch on that a bit more, which is like, technology is not going to fix your problems, but like the people that are, good salespeople, good entrepreneurs, good business people, hustling, grinding, doing all the things, pushing, it's going to help them to get better. With that said, I imagine that somebody in your position with the success that you've had, with a team as big as you've had, you're not like a social media influencer, but like, yeah, I mean, you're all over YouTube. You have my dad calls me, once a week and he always asks, how's my buddy Grady? He emails me all the time. Right.
Doing great.
Yeah. I imagine that you get hit up with all sorts of widgets and gadgets and opportunities and shiny objects. Look at this, look at that. And I know for, somebody who's selling insurance, who's maybe selling 20, 30, 40K, maybe they have an agency going, they're starting to like make some real money, that it's really easy to go, oh, let me look at this thing, let me look at that thing, let me be some kind of real estate investor, and they're just getting off the ground. So I don't know, it just came to me. That's a question I have is like, how do you like navigate those waters of what to keep focused on and then what maybe is something worthwhile to take a look at within the realm of insurance?
From building your business or just like investments for your personal life?
I would say first for building your business, and
Got it.
then maybe we can touch on the investment stuff
Well,
a little bit.
so I mean, the first thing that as a producer should do would be set a goal to get a significant return on your leads, right? That's your goal. I mean, you guys use a fancy acronym, BOAS or something. What is it? What is
Return on ad spend.
ROAS? Return on
ROAS.
ad spend.
Boaz.
ROAS. Hey, don't have to
That's
know all the acronyms, but you
yeah.
can return on ad spend. So yes, return on ad spend and return on lead investment. ROILI, ROLI, right? We can call it whatever, however we want to chop this up. But the first goal as a producer is to make enough money to be able to buy more leads, right? And my always advice to an agent is this can't like, you have to look at this as a business, and a business has expenses without an expectation of an immediate return. Why? I don't know what the specific numbers are, but for years we've heard 90% of small businesses fail in the first 2 years, 95% fail in the first 5 years. Spoiler alert, as an insurance rep, you are a small business of one, very small. Any smaller, the business would be non existent. So as a new producer, your first goal is to start to return money. So like in that thought process is how can I grade my skill set, right? If you've ever seen me do a training call, I talk about this simple equation for life. It's knowledge plus skills equals value to the marketplace. K plus S equals V. And that's really where it becomes like your knowledge of what you know, you being on here. Hopefully, I can enlighten you on some new knowledge on this industry, the world, tech, AI, etc. But that only parallels to your skills. If you have no skills to communicate, if you can't be comfortable on the phone, if the client says I'm driving and you go, okay, I'll call you later. No, they're driving. Just push, have a conversation with them because they're driving the car and ask the questions and verify the information that you have on the lead card, right? Those are your skills of not being, and I don't use the word weak, but just being not as skilled yet, right? So grow those two things and your value to the marketplace, which means what you can earn will increase, right? Um, People who make a lot of money, well, Elon Musk just somehow negotiated a $1 trillion pay package. That's fascinating. What do you think his knowledge and his skills are high? Of course. And so does the board of Tesla. They all think that his knowledge and skills are incredibly high, which is why they gave him this opportunity. Now, granted, he's got to do a bunch of things and hit record setting sales numbers and all kinds of stuff. But the fact it's on the ladder now should show all of us what is potentially possible. Now, he might be the unicorn in business. He is a unicorn. He's like the crystal unicorn in business. But regardless, you could be the golden. I'll be a silver unicorn. I'll be a copper. I'll be a bronze unicorn. I'll be a mud unicorn in business if I can get 5 or 10 or 1% of what that crystal unicorn can earn. So in that thought process is at the beginning, your goal is to return your ROAS is to make your money back on your leads. Your next goal is to hire a staff and to put yourself in a position where you have someone that can support you. That is a business. A business is not a sole proprietorship of you just selling insurance, writing your own thank you cards, calling the carriers, calling back your clients, handling all of the minutia, great grandpa word, the minutia of your business. Your job is to do the thing that makes you the most money, which is selling insurance or recruiting people and then teaching them how to sell insurance. That is your skill set. And if you don't yet have that skill set and you find yourself on the phone with Trans or calling Americo or writing thank you cards, you don't value your time enough yet. And so that's where the goal is how do you step forward into becoming a business owner instead of living back here as a sole proprietor? And now, granted, I know many of us and many of you are in this position. I learned this through time, right? Grady served sushi and meatloaf and salads at the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall for years, leading up to the point where I partnered with some guys who had a software company, and then they taught me a lot of stuff, right? So never begrudge the time you've spent doing other things that have allowed you to know what you know today. And if you don't know much about business today, well, start getting around business people, right? If you find yourself chatting with your buddies and girlfriends who all have jobs working 9 to 5s, which there's nothing wrong with that, they just don't know how to be a business owner. And how do you become a business owner is you read books, get around other business people, ask them questions, carve out time, talk to Jamie and Josh, talk to the people that you know that do well financially, and spend a few minutes asking them a few poignant questions. If you lack the maturity or confidence in order to reach out to those people, get over it. It's costing you money, right? I had no issue reaching out to the top producers in the company and asking them questions about why they sell this product or how they sell that product or how they overcome this objection. Why? Because I asked them nicely, and generally in life, most successful people are nice. It's very difficult to get to the top of the mountain of anything being an asshole. So what does that mean? Just reach out to people. Hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, I'm struggling with that. Now, what do you say here? What do you say there? Most people will go, hey, this is what I say. Type it out. I had a guy yesterday share his ethos lead script. It was fantastic. I never heard the word said that way. He shared it with a bunch of people. Everyone said thank you. You know how you gain status in a group? Is you give to the group, right? It's an Alex Hormozy line. We give to the group. We give to the teams we're a part of. We give to the companies we're a part of. And then reciprocity kicks in. So that's your first thing is return on your leads, get a staff, and then establish a great tech stack. Irony, we're sitting on the Lead Champ Pro call. Get a great tech stack to support your business in scale. So you can manage your clients, you can manage your referrals, you can manage active clients, you can manage your lead flow. And that's really the flow. Now, Lead Champ can come in anywhere there. I'm neutral, but I'm neutral, but I do love Jamie and Josh. But I'm also neutral as though I talk to them like business owners, and they would agree that I don't sugarcoat things because I want them to succeed in all things that they do. But at the same standpoint, it is a phenomenal tool to support that third phase, right? And that third phase generally comes when you're issue paying 20K or more, right? As a new agent, you're trying to cover your leads. Then you're trying to get some support established. And then what are you going to teach your staff to do? Well, I used an Excel spreadsheet for my entire career. I would have used LeadChamp if I had that opportunity. It didn't exist, and there was no other tool without me creating out of thin air. And Excel seemed to work fine. Now, hindsight's 2020. Having a tool that can follow up and drip on your clients and increase retention, increase persistency by showing continuity is why I support this product. So, and that's why you're here, or maybe you're here because we promised to talk about how to make money in AI. Maybe but that neither here nor there. That would be the phases I would go through, Jamie, on getting your business going.
100%. I'd love if you could kind of just peel it back a little bit to like you obviously have phenomenal staff. And that was one of the first things that you taught me early on. I think it might have been an Andrew Taylor line, something you put in my ear early, like the first policy of the week that I sell pays for my leads. The second policy of the week pays for my first staff member. The third policy of the week pays for my marketing budget. But like you had staff very early on that did things for you that a lot of technology will do now. Like we have, things like thank you cards. What is all the stuff that you had your staff do, to make sure that you were prepared to go out on your appointments, that you were prepared after the sale? How did you keep things on the books? Like, I mean, maybe we'll just stick to like a client retention standpoint. Like what were the things that you did, with your physical effort or, staff labor?
So just so we're clear, like I did talk about business and get around people and talk to people. I don't want to say I came from nothing. Like we're all live in America and have cell phones. We all have something except for Gia, and Gia's a rock star. But is Gia in the US? Where is she at?
Philippines.
Philippines. Well, Gia, you're queen of the Philippines. So, but for everybody who's selling insurance with an insurance license in the United States, we're not coming from nothing. But Jamie, I didn't have a lot. Like I didn't have a lot. I also didn't have a lot to lose. My wife's always like, "Did you lock the car?" And I'm like, "It's in the garage." Like, okay, did you lock the front door? I'm like, yeah, but what are they gonna steal? Like, we're gone. They gonna rip the TVs off the wall now? Like, we don't have bullion sitting out on the dressers. Like, what are they gonna steal? Like, who's robbing houses in 2025 and like coming away with like a VCR and like some dude's old shoes and trying to sell them at wherever people sell things they steal, pawn shops. So she's always freaking out about like, did you lock up? And I'm like, yeah, I did. But like, again, if they take the truck, they take the truck. We get a new truck. Like it'll be okay, So so when I'm saying that is I didn't come from anything. Like I didn't have a lot to lose. So when I got started in this thing and I got going and started making sales, I didn't have any reason to not trust the people that had the success I wanted. When I joined this company, when I joined insurance, my mentor was making 400,000 a year selling and 400,000 a year recruiting. So he's making insane money. And he said, as soon as you hit 20K, get a staff to support you. So I did. I'm telling you that now. How many will do it? Not many. Why? They want to hold on their goal. They don't trust me. They don't believe in themselves yet. They don't know where to find people. All fine statements. But the thing you should do is get someone to support you so that they can do everything that you shouldn't be doing when you should be making phone calls to clients and making sales, recruiting agents and teaching them how to sell. So the things I'd have them do early on would the second I make a sale, perfect. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you. The time that are you happy with the job I've done for you? What do they say? Yes, I am. Thank you, Grady. Right? I'm closing a sale with getting them to say thank you to me. We don't thank our clients. What are you thanking them for? The commission you just earned? Your job is to put out a process where you've returning the thing. You did the work, right? You protected their family. They should be thanking you. So perfect. Are you happy with the job I've done for you today, Bob and Mary? Yes, thank you very much, Grady. Perfect. Excellent. So tomorrow, Jade's going to reach out to you, let you know the policy's been submitted. In a few days, she'll reach out whether or not it's been approved or not. And if not, I'll come back out. Or if not, we'll get another phone call because I'm a broker. That's why I'm a broker. Now we picked this product for you because it's fantastic, fits all your needs. But they may find something on your health from a few years back that we just forgot about, and we're going to make sure we get that resolved. Is that fair? Perfect. We'll get you put in a different product. We'll make sure that happens. Now, granted, if you are approved, then perfect. She'll follow up again in a week or so after that. Make sure your policy came in the mail. So I'm setting this stage. Jade's calling him 3 times, and then within that, by the third call, she's sending a thank you card. Something pops up on the carrier, lapse policy. She's looking it up. She's finding out what client it is. She's calling the client going, hey, John, looks like your policy from 3 months ago. Something happened at America, right? We're not telling them their bank overdraft. We're not scaring them. Something happened. The policy didn't go through. Is everything okay with your bank account? Looks like it ends in 1234 because I have their bank information because I put it in the app, right? And then we're going to get that resolved. She's going to follow up 6, 12 months, make sure that their client's happy with everything, try to book annual reviews. Any carrier relations, any beneficiary changes, any interaction with the client post sale comes from my staff. I don't not want to spend time with my clients, but I did my job. I got them taken care of. I got the sale resolved. And now I've done a good job of edifying Jade, of educating how to communicate with people, of teaching how to communicate. And if you lack these skills, well, get better by doing it more. Go to Charisma on Command on YouTube, learn how to communicate better, read How to Win Friends and Influence People, how to Win Friends and Influence People, phenomenal book. Start listening to some Jim Rohn on how to talk to people and ask other successful people what they say on their client follow-up calls, right? Someone has good persistency, that'd be a good person to ask. So this is the simple stuff, right? Most people are terrified of their own shadow, right? Quizma? I don't know what I said, Jamie.
I didn't hear that one.
Charisma on Command.
Oh,
Phenomenal channel on YouTube. I highly recommend it. Charisma on Command. Great guy. Talks about how to communicate better. Phenomenal. So these are things that you'd have your staff doing, checking in on your clients.
so I'll kind of piggyback on that, right? So like you told Jamie that, Jamie told me that. I remember specifically, I don't remember how many weeks in, it was maybe my second month in. I was, doing 30 appointments a week. I was writing 10K a week. I was doing all the things that, we were, we said, hey, here's what you need to do. And I remember like pulling my hair out because I was on the hold with the carriers for like 3 hours on a dial day, which back then, like you didn't do anything on dial day because it was just, you had to stay focused.
Sacred.
Now, and then I specifically remember hiring my first assistant, and it was my neighbor. It went horribly. We got rid of her pretty much right away. And then we got a virtual assistant, and then we went through a couple of those, and then we've had one now for years and years, and it's gone great. And I remember because first, most everybody's on here, like I was not a business person. I was a salesperson, right? Which,
Okay.
when it came to communicating with staff, I was terrible. I'm like, I don't have time to tell them what to do. Like they just need to know what to do. But of course, they're not going to know because I haven't told them. And I just remember just internally having this meltdown because I'm like, okay, now I have this person I have to pay for. And what do they do? And obviously, you have a great staff. And since then, Jamie and we have a bunch of staff. And I'll plug one thing and then I'll ask you a question. Something that you shared with us a long time ago that has been invaluable to me, which I don't have the link. Maybe you can tell people where to go check it out on YouTube, but was executive communication, right? Which is the process of instead saying, "Hey, Grady, go do that thing." And it's like, and I realized I would ask staff to do stuff and they wouldn't get it right. And then I looked at what I asked them to do and I was like, oh, well, okay. No wonder. But so you should check that out on YouTube. Maybe you can tell them where to go.
I'll send it to you guys. You can share it with everybody.
Okay, yeah, we can drop it in our Discord afterwards or link it in the YouTube. But what for everybody here that is a great salesperson, okay? This is somebody who maybe you're already getting a bunch of yeses, right? They say yes, I'll take the policy. That doesn't mean you have great retention. Doesn't mean you have a great return and your finances are in order and your staff. It just means you're good at getting people to say yes, right? What is okay? I need staff, but I'm having a difficult time. And what's that next? What's the next step, right? You had staff to buy your time back. Did you just obviously we know where you ended up, but like your thought process, I imagine, wasn't just, okay, I'm selling 30 now. Let me go hire staff. So I'm going to net less and that's just going to be my life. Like what is the progression to think about? So let me ask it this way. How many people have you seen that have a spreadsheet, one call close, don't have staff, and have, just have a happy financial life for, years and years to come, and that's it?
Um, so I've got multiple answers on that, but the main thing that I help everyone understand is unless you become an elitely proficient producer, this business is a business. It's work, right? If you have a burger shop, you will have spoilage at some point. There may be rioters outside. The fucking city may decide to put a median in front of your restaurant and change the flow of traffic forever. And no longer people can turn left. Everyone has to go around, do U-turns. They get busy and they take off, and it completely impacts your business. The people in this world, our world, and granted, we're not like some acronym company where you got to recruit and insurance is all about recruiting, they're all about recruiting. And it's not recruiting to this giant level of agents at which I'm totally blown away and blessed to even have my name attached to in a small corner with an asterisk. The reality though is though, unless you become elitely proficient in production, keeping clients sold, making sure they know that you're the person to take care of them, can be a level of burnout because of the repetitive action at which you're doing this over and over, which is why we encourage people to build a team or to scale to higher quality or higher level of products, right? The agents that are grinding out 60, 80, $90 final expense policies are agents that will soon be exhausted. And so that's where our encouragement though is to level up and use tech. And use staff to keep your business on the books. If your staff can help you go from a 73% to an 85%, that's a significant increase in persistency, which means a business you don't have to resell or sell again to replace the chargeback that you had happen. So, but the answer about staff though, dude, is that like I didn't know what to do, right? You know what I knew though? I knew what I would like. I would like this staff member or myself to treat the clients like they were my mom. I would like to have a business where people refer me clients just because of how I interact with them and the service at which comes. And the service at which comes behind it is minutes of work. The problem with this industry is that agents are lazy and they don't want to put those extra minutes because they already made the sale. They got the dopamine, endorphin, serotonin rush from the paycheck. And why would I want to go deal with business from a week ago? Now, granted, so that's where staff comes in, and staff deals from business from a week ago. You offset that reduction in income with an increase in persistency. So I didn't know what to do, but I knew how the dream I had for myself, and that came by looking at other people's successful businesses. I didn't need to figure it out, right? I don't need to know what to do. I go, Andrew's got two great staff, three great staff. I can't afford three right now, but I can afford one. I can afford one to support me, right? I know we both know great producers who struggle to get staff because they won't take the time to teach them. I knew that was the gate, that was the cheat code, the cheat code to buying back your time. If I could just employ these damn kids to call back my clients or to do any amount of recruiting or do anything, this agency would be significantly bigger. But you know, that neither not yet, but I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna have a whole slew of recruiters. But that's it, guys. Like if you don't know what to do yet, that's okay. But have a dream and a plan for yourself. Put some ads out, have some conversations. That's it. Does the person want to support you in business? And I was fortunate that how I always recommend this and my ultimate love for Jade is that I struck water. I struck the lot. I mean, I interviewed three people and she was the best by far. And then since her, we've had 15 other staff. Like I've had many people that I've made her fire. It's because I was like, oh, you gotta do it. You're the boss. So I made her fire. But now we're down to we've got a very lean, efficient staff, but it works through time. But you can't get to this place where you've got a highly proficient and efficient business without having the belief that this will be worth it someday. So that's where I would put all that together. So
Yeah, that's good. Jamie. you have anything that you look like you had something to say?
No, I want to transition to the reason that all the people are here. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the tech stack. Let's talk about how AI is working. I mean, obviously, there's some cool things that Lead Champ can provide. We could talk about that. But I mean, Grady, just in general, like from like a higher level, like what are you seeing across, agents? What are some things that agents are doing to get their time back? What are they doing to be more efficient? I mean, there's really basic things. Like I remember when I first got started, you said, Jamie, go to Office Max and go get a physical calendar book. And I wrote down all my appointments in a physical calendar book. And when I made the, I probably didn't make the transition out of that physical calendar book for way too long. But like 2 years ago, I finally got on Google Calendar and it changed my life. Like that was huge. But like now there's so much more even than that. Like what are the things that you're seeing agents doing that is helping them get their time back?
Well, okay, so I'm going to get there, but let's just talk about um, let's just talk about the world, right, for a second. It's 2025, it's November. Um, we're not getting political because this is irrelevant. Everyone's got their opinions. Let's just talk about the stock market. Um, the stock market is at an all-time high on all indices, et cetera. And interest rates are still high from a real estate standpoint. And if these are things you don't know a lot about, what I would encourage you to do, and what I started doing a few years ago, because unfortunately, I know a guy who's worth almost $1 billion, and he said, I watch CNBC throughout the day. And I said, okay, that was it. I didn't ask him why. And now you put it on and you start to learn things about the way money works, the way the markets work, real estate, transitions of power, et cetera. Things that impact us as business people at this level, but things that are done at the higher level. And so I would encourage all of you that in any capacity, I'm checking CNBC and learning what's going on in the market, what companies are moving. AI is without question, and so if anyone knows who Jerome Powell is the federal chair. Federal Reserve Bank, and he determines through his group of people whether or not interest rates go up or down. I'm not sure if any of you bought a house a few years ago, but you probably haven't sold it because your interest rate was significantly lower than what you can get today. Interest rates have gone up. They've recently been starting to go with easing, and they're starting to lower again. They're supposed to meet again in December to find out if they're going to lower one more quarter point. Now, granted, federal interest rates don't immediately impact real estate, but it's a factor in it. Now, granted, next year there's supposed to be a new Fed chair, and he is going to be very president focused, which will probably drop rates significantly again. What does that mean? That means right now we sell a lot of IULs because a few years ago we used to sell a lot of mortgage protection. Why do we sell a lot of mortgage protection? Because there's a heck of a lot more mortgages and there's a heck of a lot more refinances going on, which then created our mortgage protection lead surplus. Well, interest rates go up. What happens then? We cannot get the leads anymore. So our entire basically company has gone from a 3% of IULs to almost 50% of IULs because that's a product that we can talk about. We're getting greater rates of return. You can see that in the products, that returns in portfolios. It's easy to sell. People see it in the news. How does this affect? Well, AI as a whole is something that today has been talked about as a bubble, but the problem with it, it's not a problem at all. It is not a bubble because the dot-com bubble that we've all heard of in our youth or in our years was based on ideas, is based on what could happen, potential companies that could do something that didn't turn out to something. The AI companies today are all making money. And so what does this mean, Grady? This means that AI as a whole, whether or not you use ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or all the amazing tools, it is here to stay now and forever. And so utilizing it in some capacity within your business, utilizing it to help you with copy, utilizing it to help with image creation, utilizing it to help you with client follow-up, utilizing it to help create tools and resources within your business is something that the people that adopt that mindset and understanding that this isn't going anywhere, the fact that I can have a conversation with ChatGPT about what is the likelihood of the Diamondbacks with 13 games remaining being able to make the wild card, and it will tell me with accurate certainty batting averages. It's absolutely phenomenal what the access to information that we have in 2025. And these companies are only continuing to progress. And so what does that mean? That means you as a business owner that the paper apps and driving around town is the slow way to do things. It is the rotary phone. It is the can and a string. It is the paper mail philosophy of how to communicate. And if you're not yet adopting that philosophy, and integrating into your business, you will get left behind. And so the first, interactions I've had with you guys talking about how incredible the AI works inside of Lead Champ Pro blew me away when I had agents that would tell me, Grady, I like turned my leads ran all weekend. I haven't checked my CRM since Friday because I didn't have any appointments of the weekend. I woke up on Monday with 38 pre-booked appointments because the AI is talking to the clients, answering them questions while I was with my kids over the weekend. That to me says that this is something that cannot be overlooked. Now, did they all stick? Did they all show up? Did you close them all? These are all factors that can improve with time. But the fact that you can generate leads now at will using Meta or Google or TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and then have a great CRM like LeadChamp, have a accurate and confident and fluid and coherent conversation on your behalf while you're with your kids at soccer or lacrosse or wherever you are, or you're wrestling. I know Al's on here. Wherever you are with your family, and AI is booking appointments for you, is, guys, like, this is new ground. So for us to think anything else, but I shouldn't be in, if not all in on this, is the wrong thought process for people that are all smart. We're all smart. We all want great success. We all want to take care of our clients. We all want great persistency. So how do we use this best? I love the tool you guys have integrated, but like to see that, like, OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, is seeking a $1 trillion IPO valuation. $1 trillion. That would be I believe, the largest IPO or second largest IPO in the history of the stock market. That is a huge proponent of the AI move. And so, like, wherever you guys are, we've all got our opinions on ethos, and mine isn't great. I love Instabrain, two techie companies, but that's two so far. Where are we going to be in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? How many more companies? Is America going to come out with a website for us to be able to text our clients? I haven't heard anything, but it would be smart if they did, but they don't ask, what, but this is the future of utilizing tech, utilizing great apps, utilizing lead generation, and putting people in a position where then you can then consult an AI tool. They can, we use AI to help us write some copy for our posts. Now we go in there and improve it and make it more poignant and fix the words, but whatnot. But how long till I don't have to I don't have to proofread it? I don't know. Like, so that's this. Like, if I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to educate you, but also give you some insight. Like, this is the future. Like, this is truly the future of our world. And these companies want to have data centers. They're going to put data centers in the sky. Like, there's all kinds of conversations about it. But this isn't like going away. It's not like something's like, this isn't going to continue to happen. NVIDIA is, I believe, the largest valued company in the world now, over $5 trillion. Like, and they make the chips that then fuel the AI. Like, so that it excites me to a sense, makes me nervous to a sense. But at the same time, like, I can't get nervous because I do have a phenomenal income opportunity here. You all have a phenomenal income opportunity here in insurance, right? This is still an emotional sale. We still have to have a conversation with Bob and Betty, but God forbid, Betty, what would happen if Bob died yesterday? What would you do today? And Bob starts to talk, and you go, hold on, Bob, you died yesterday. You can't, you're dead, right? Betty, what would you be doing right now? Well, I don't know. Okay, so this is still an emotional conversation that, we're probably some time off between, full. I think there's going to be HIPAA disclosures. You got to be licensed. We're a long ways off between the insurance boards of Connecticut allowing, AI to sell life insurance over the phone. So for that thing right here and now, people are going to love the human interaction. That's where we can win. But can we implement AI to help us book appointments, to help us follow up with clients, to work old leads, to start conversations, to continue conversations, to educate the clients, and then allows you to scale your business. So the flow is get started, make some sales, increase your ROAS, then get a staff that can support you, help manage this stuff, and then get a great tech stack that has AI embedded and executing at a high level, and put yourself in a position where you can benefit from all this. That's what excites me. And I love that you guys had the foresight to do all this stuff. So hope that kind of covered what you were looking for, Jamie.
Yeah, appreciate that, Grady. And Yeah, so maybe Nick, you can drop this in the chat. Anybody who's not can join our Discord, and you can kind of go check out some of the stuff that Grady had mentioned, right? Just I made a post in there yesterday in our Good News channel where I had a lead. It was like a year old, and finally decided saw something in the text strips a year later, responded, and AI went ahead and booked it. And is that the end all be all? No, right?
That client never would have gotten a call or a text if you had
Exactly.
that into good quality CR and in the best quality CRM that's dripping on them continuously. Like that just wouldn't happen.
Right. And so is it going to take somebody who is not, having good principles and work ethic and all the things, and all of a sudden now you have this super profitable business? No, it's not. But if you're doing all the correct things, that extra sale this week where you have an extra, 3K AP goes from like an okay week to a great week. Or me personally, because of all of the principles that Grady talked about when it comes to taking care of his clients that we implemented, with AI, with the tech strips, with the postcards, with the follow-ups, I took my persistency from at its worst 60% to now it's 86% across the board.
I mean,
And you go and issue, 400 grand a year, and you do the math on that. What's a 25% increase? You can do the math. That's a
100 grand,
significant
100
amount.
grand and 104,000.
Right. Right. So that's what we're talking about. And so check that out. But yeah, we've spent a lot of time building out our AI appointment setter for anybody that's, Lead Champ member to use. And again, is it going to save your business? No, it's not. But what it is going to do is you're going to get an extra 10%, an extra 15% appointments week over week where you're dialing, you're trying to squeeze every little bit out of your leads, and sometimes you crush it, sometimes you don't, right? Jamie always says, I might have a bad week, but I don't have a bad month. But what would that extra lift this month mean to you, right? What would that extra lift in persistency mean to you? And so you don't have to go and recreate the wheel. You don't have to go, like Grady said, right? He's not going to go and become, some kind of Elon Musk AI savant, but he's going to watch CNBC to just see what's going on, to be in the know, right? And so we hope to be just a resource that people can come and check out and utilize and partner with. And another great person I respect who's on this call, he'll know when I say it, pay for easy, right? To implement great tools. So you can jump in the Discord. You can go check us out on leadchampro.com. But Grady, really, really appreciate your time. Anything, we have what's November 12th. We have a month and a half to the end of 2026. This is the time where people start, kind of reeling back. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas. What do you see that people focus on the next month and a half that are the people at the top of the leaderboard who are doing everything, and the people that maybe are a little bit frustrated with their results? What would your advice be to those folks?
My advice would be remember your goals, right? Like if you've got big goals to bless your family and take care of them into the holiday, it doesn't mean you need to be selling on Christmas and through Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is you celebrate or believe, but it means that you should push yourself because there's I don't know. I got two boys that are 7 and 10, and I've worked out my whole life. I've never never got like a six pack or anything, but like, it's on the docket. But my boys are at a level now where like they're like looking at me and it's like, it's dad working out? What fit? Cam wants to punch me in the stomach all the time now. And he's like, flex your stomach. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this. So, but what I'm saying though is like, I have a parental responsibility now to be the ideal example for my children. And that is an elite level of pressure. Now, if we reflect back in this business, if you're leading anybody, and it could just be you leading yourself, why don't you show yourself how hard you can work, right? Book Disneyland in January and push through this and push through this period of time and you might go, well, I want to enjoy it. Well, you wrote 400 grand up to November. Take December off. Do what you deserve. But there is a level of of confidence, and I've shared this before, that found early in my career that on Saturdays when my friends and my wife and my kids when they were little were at birthday parties and I would dial the phone to book in-person appointments, there's a level of commitment that I had to my goals earlier because I wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't have my goals. I was still in a little shitty house that I wanted to move my family out in the wrong neighborhood with driving the wrong car with the wrong financial situation. And so if you've had some good weeks and months, I applaud you, but carry that momentum forward. This is where you become a different person forever. And that's a hard thing to think about right now, but you surround yourself in our company, in this great company, by great people that want to accomplish great things. And if greatness doesn't settle, greatness isn't okay with mediocre and average. Greatness doesn't just go, you know what, I'm going to take these last couple of weeks off. That's the difference. And so that's where I'd say, like, as we close out this year, we close out the back half of this quarter, is my best personal sales months were always December. For some reason, people are getting bonus checks. People are thinking about their family. They're thinking about the holidays. They're thinking about protection. And I had my best 40K plus months in person paper apps, right? All you virtual guys, Arthur over there looking all cozy in that hoodie. I don't know Arthur, but you seem like a cool dude, bro. Right? I'm driving around and schlepping all over the city. But I had my best months in December because people are thinking they're in a different mood. They're not in that summer mood where stop bothering me. They're in that holiday happy mood. So that's what I would say. But I would say, guys, just anyone that's got big goals, like run at it. If you want to take off, the Christmas weekend, then do put yourself in a position where you are booking 15, 20, 30 appointments in or 50 appointments, right? Work more appointments in those first 3 weeks so you can hit 15, 20K submit and then take the back half off. Don't just settle for your standard 10K or you hit six. You know what? That month, like, don't do that to yourself. How great will it be if you're whatever religion you celebrate, right? We'll just say Christmas morning. If you're sitting there and you got a whole Christmas tree full of presents, you were able to click on Amazon and pay that extra $4 so they wrapped them. And all of a sudden your family's opening up a whole bunch of more presents they've ever seen because you chose to work extra hard. Like, the money we get from selling insurance is crazy. You buy a lot of Lego sets, right? For the amount of money we can make. So that's what I'm saying here. Like, look at this as though it is your business. It is you. It's a reflection of who you want to be, who's watching you, and what you want to be known for. That's a deep thing, but like, you want to make a dent in the universe. You want to evolve in this life to something great and be super crazy proud of yourself. And you got to push. That's it. I always tell people, text me how they're doing. Great job. Keep pushing. That's it. There's no reason. We're either winning or learning. Winning or learning. So
Incredible. Thank you so much, Grady. We appreciate you so much. Anybody, leadchamppro.com, book a demo. Would love to help you out with your AI, your automation, increasing your client persistency. Grady, it's always a treat. Blessed to have you as a mentor and a friend. Everybody have an amazing day, and we will see y'all next week.